Delighted to have first-time real estate guest in the studio with us, and a good friend to boot, Mr. Nick Tid of Polar Insulation. Good morning, Nick.
Good morning, Eric. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you got it, Nick. You are a lifelong Fargoan, right? Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Tell me about life growing up, because when people hear the name Tid, they always think of your mom, right?
They do, yeah.
Who's your family? What's your legacy here in town?
Yeah, my mom is Nancy Tid, teacher at Fargo North. My father, Ron, and we grew up in North Fargo, and excited to be a Spartan.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
I graduated high school, moved out, but couldn't resist and came back, and now we're here to plant a family. So
you moved to the fun, good, laid-back life in Colorado, correct?
we did, yeah.
Yeah, and then you said, well, I got those rebellious young years out of my system, and I'm done being a snowbird, right?
Yeah, that's correct. And Fargo is just a place for family, friends, and best of all, opportunities. So.
Now, Nick, you are the younger brother of one of my closest friends, and so I got to watch you grow up a little bit, and you always had this dynamic work ethic that blew your brother away, and he's probably listening right now, thinking,
love you, Casey.
But yeah, that's right. You've blown every person away that I've known of work ethic. You've always worked harder, longer, and smarter to boot. Is that a fair assessment?
I do the best I can, yeah. Yep.
A little bit of humble pie, but for somebody who knows you, I've always been immaculately impressed with the way in which you work and the way in which you focus on giving back and making a profound difference and doing quality work to boot. So,
thank you.
Yeah. So now, what are you doing with your life?
Yep, we have an insulation company.
Okay.
We've been in business for about 2.5 years now.
All right.
Doing mostly new construction, small commercial, and existing homes as well.
So you're just, if I understand insulation correctly, it's itchy, it is lighter than it looks, and it's something that I don't know how to deal with. So if I was an avid installer like you, I'd have all this great information. But if I'm a Joe Blow who doesn't know much about construction, is insulation something I could or should do myself?
You certainly can. It's always best to contact a qualified professional because there's many steps to take to do it properly.
Okay.
With that said, anyone's able to do it. Specifically, what we want to do before we insulate is air seal. Most people are familiar with cans of foam you can buy off the shelf. The biggest mode of heat loss is through air movement. So anytime we can stop air movement, that's where we start.
Okay.
So.
Again, in studio with us, Nick Tid of Polar Insulation, and we're talking the sexy, alluring topic of insulation today. But realistically, it is imperatively important for people's houses, isn't it?
Absolutely, without question, in our climate. Yep.
So the risk is insulation is just keeping the cold away, right?
It's keeping the cold away, it's keeping the heat in, and then on the flip side, in the summertime, we're doing the same thing. So.
That was always an anomaly to me. I always thought insulation was just keeping the cold out. But realistically, if you don't have great insulation, even your summers are going to be miserable in your house.
Correct. Yep, we keep you warm in the winter and cool in the summer.
Great.
Yeah.
So what's the risk, Nick, if somebody doesn't have proper insulation? What are the things that can happen not only to their energy bill, but more importantly to their house?
Yeah, everyone's concerned about energy and cost savings. I specifically more concern myself with mold and structural integrity of your building envelope. So
tell me more about mold. If there's not the right insulation, somebody's going to get mold?
Yep, without proper insulation or attic ventilation. We have ventilation and air sealing, they work hand in hand. We can create moisture if we don't have a proper system in place, and that moisture will allow for mold growth.
That's the do-it-yourself nightmare, isn't it? If I understand this correctly?
A little bit, correct. Yep. Yep.
So a lot of people will want to save a few extra bucks and maybe do it themselves, but realistically they're setting themselves up for maybe, if they don't do all the right steps and protect and seal, they're going to set themselves up for maybe a mold nightmare.
Yep, you're right. And we, a lot of insulation applications are done improperly with the right concept in mind. And unfortunately, we end up going and fixing those just because the proper steps weren't taken in order.
That's why I'm not a do-it-yourself guy, Nick, is I always know that it's not only going to be frustrating and time-consuming for me and expensive when I first do it, then I have to call you anyways.
Yep.
When it's all said and done. It's I think the same oftentimes if somebody's trying to sell their house on their own. The allure is I can maybe make more money, I can get more cash, I can have this opportunity to keep some extra things in my pocket. But man, just put your business in the hands of a professional, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
So I bet if somebody wants to actually have you come out, it's going to cost an arm and a leg. Is that a fair assessment?
For us to do the installation job?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Because it'll pay dividends in the long run.
Okay.
It'll pay on your comfort of your home, the air quality, and then on top of your energy savings.
Yeah. Well, and in addition to all that, you're not that expensive.
We're not.
I mean, because you get things at wholesale where we have to buy them at retail, and that's a first savings. And the way I've seen you work as well, Nick, you are ultra fast at what you do. So your projects aren't taking you 6 days to do.
Yep. No, we try to be as fast and efficient as possible, knowing that you're on a time schedule as well. And we get in and get out. We do our job well. We're very clean in what we do. So
I like that clean word. Nick, last but not least, I want to talk spray foam for just a quick second.
Yeah.
It's kind of the new thing, isn't it?
It's becoming so. It's been around for many years. It's becoming the new thing because of energy codes. In the benefits of spray foam.
Okay, so the benefits of spray foam energy codes, it's obviously going to do a better job of maintaining a longer life of insulation. If you look at old attics, you see insulation just start to have gravity sink in, right?
Yeah.
And it sinks and sinks. Is that the case with spray foam?
No, spray foam doesn't settle at all, and to drive the fact home, most insulations don't settle. Fiberglass won't settle on you over time. So. But what happens, spray foam is a complete system itself. Fiberglass applications rely on a number of variables such as venting, air sealing, so on and so forth, done properly, where spray foam is a sprayed in place liquid form once and done system. So awesome. The benefits of it are you have an air sealing and a vapor barrier in one system on top of the structural integrity that it provides for your home. It's really a fantastic product.
I love it. Nick, I want people to call you and get a free quote. I want your business Rolodex to be filled with people who are wanting to put their trust in you. So Polar Insulation, Nick Tid, how can they get in touch with you? What's your phone number?
701-799-1404.
799-1404. That's it. Nick Tid with Polar Insulation. Thanks for coming in, my friend.
Thank you so much, Hatch.
You bet. And hey, we're going to come right back after the break with a lot more real estate radio. Thanks so very much for tuning in. And during the break, head to livefargomoorhead.com to find out what your home is worth. This is Real Estate Radio with Erik Hatch.